Hey guys, very good morning to all of you, and it's a time of festival and celebration. Eid Mubarak to all of you who are watching here. Fine, and what's the topic for today? It's about how to do a smooth transition from a long fasting duration into a regular eating pattern, which is very, very important. So before we get on to it, it's me, Kamala, senior nutritionist from Healthify Me. Okay, so how do we start with now? Yes. What is fasting that you need to know, and you need to know the benefits of fasting as well before we know how to overcome that fasting, right? So fasting is nothing but taking a break from your regular eating pattern or deviating from your normal eating routine. So the benefits of is because of various health reasons, and basically people do it for religious reasons and customs, and other thing could be to detoxify your body, or nothing but cleansing your internal organs or systems, or removing toxins from your body in the other way, right? And the other reason for fasting is some people do fasting for fat percentage, bringing down the fat content in the body as well. Certain researchers have proven that intermittent fasting helps in that way, where when you're fasting on a longer duration, the body uses fat as an energy source once your body's glucose stores are getting exhausted. That is one reason. And the other reason is something, once you give rest to your internal organs, mainly your intestinal tract like stomach and intestine, without any food for a longer duration, its work efficiency improves and increases, right? And these are all the various reasons why we do fasting. And when we do fasting, and we need to justify that those reasons are not messed up by our eating habits, which is very, very important. That is why today's topic is about how to do a smooth transition. Right, and what are all the various types of fasting, right? Let's say, for example, some people do fasting for from morning till evening, only with fruits, juices, and probably fruit and milk, or fruit juices and vegetable juices throughout the day. And evening they break their fast with probably a light carbohydrate like cereals like khichdi, or it can be sabudana, and then they continue the routine throughout the week, right? And some people do fasting probably like once in a week or twice in a month. And the other type of fasting, which is intermittent fasting, is done in different ways, where you fast for a continuous duration of 16 hours and fix a eating period of 8 hours, right? What is the benefit? Like when you fix a eating period of 8 hours, let's say for example, morning 8 to 4 is your eating period. So you will be taking, it's not going to be about having a less calories or only fruits and vegetables, no. So this is about, you will be covering your daily requirements of nutrients in terms of your calories, in terms of your protein, in terms of your fat requirement and carb requirement. So every nutrient requirement is met in that 8 hours, right? And post that, the 16 hours throughout the day, you will be fasting, probably with 0 calorie foods. You're allowed to take water, or you're allowed to take green tea or black coffee without sugar, where the calorie content is 0. So when you do like this, as I had told earlier, on the longer duration of fasting, your body uses fat as an effective fuel source for the energy purpose. This is one thing. And the insulin spikes will not be there on a long run, so that the fat storage percentage also will be on the lower end. And the other reason is like, when you do intermittent fasting, what you have to keep in mind is people believe that it's about low calorie food, right? So in this particular fasting, what happens is like you're not going to end up yourself in any kind of deficiency, because all nutrients are met. So you can have it continuous. It's not about once in a day. You can have it, follow it throughout a week or throughout a month time. There is no problem with this, because all your nutrients are going to be met. And the other type of intermittent fasting is something like where you fast for 24 hours duration continuously once in a week. Let's say, for example, starting from 10 p.m. tonight till tomorrow 10 p.m., not going to take anything apart from 0 calorie foods, and remaining 6 days of a week you will be continue to have a regular eating pattern without any restriction of calories and restriction of time period. This is the other way of fasting. So these are all the different methods of fasting, and you all know what reason we do fasting as well, the reasons behind it. Now, how to overcome it, right? So now you need to know, now the holy month of fasting is over, and celebration is coming now, and you end up eating a lot of foods. People comes to your house, and you also crave for different types of food. Some crave for sweets, some crave for spicy foods, even some crave for junk foods and processed foods, right? And some people's appetite will be really low, where they don't feel like eating anything also. So always there is a confusion in our mind, like what to have in that point of a time, and can we have anything to overcome that craving? That is something. So here I would like to say that you have to follow your hunger cues, which is very, very important. So when you are feeling hungry, your stomach starts grumbling that it's a time for you to give food to your stomach, and that time you need to eat, but you have to make sure the type of food what you're eating, the quantity as well as the quality of food, both matters a lot, which is very, very important, right? So here we tend to eat food from outside, probably like, celebration comes, so a lot of desserts coming in we feel like eating a lot of desserts and probably a plate of spicy biryani. So that is where we go wrong. So when we eat to the full stomach, or when we are not eating the right type of food, what symptoms your body kind of feels it like? First thing is indigestion, right? So the reason behind indigestion is when you're kept yourself for a longer fasting duration, especially when you're skipping your lunch, being in that fasting time, like 1 o'clock every day you're being used to eating lunch, right? And throughout the month you're not eating anything at 1 o'clock and keeping yourself at fast. So your body gets adapted to that mode. So the digestive enzymes and the juices secreted at that point of a time will be little on the lower end. So once your body gets adapted to that time, and suddenly once the fast is over and the next day you're going to load yourself with good amount of food, probably your appetite might be more, but the other end, what happens, because of decreased secretion of the digestive juices and enzymes, you might kind of face this indigestion problem. One thing is like bloating, which is like your stomach tends to bulge up, like water retention can be the other symptoms. It can be a loose stools, it can be a constipation, right? And other thing can be is acidity problem because of the spicy food, and other thing it can be like regurgitation, where food tends to come up till your throat and kind of leaves a burning sensation in your throat. So these are all the different symptoms you find it because of unhealthy eating habits. So if you're finding any of these symptoms like regurgitation or bloating or loose stools or stomach upset or a lot of flatulence even, right? Flatulence is nothing but passing gas down the body, or too much of burps, right? So if any of these symptoms if you're finding, then definitely your eating pattern is not right or appropriate, right? Then that is the time we have to look into what to be taken. So coming to that point, the first cue is, or first point to keep in mind, is eating a small frequent meals, right? So when you eat to the full stomach, let's say for example your stomach capacity is so much and you're feeling super hungry, and if you eat to the full stomach, then definitely the above symptoms will come in. So that is the reason, always make sure 80% of our hunger is sufficed, and post that you stop eating. That is one way. The other way to put it across is don't eat to your full stomach. When you feel your 80% of the stomach is full, stop eating, right? So when you eat a small quantity of food, and definitely you're going to feel hungry probably in another 2-3 hours, and again you need to eat the right type of food, because having a small frequent meals post fasting is going to increase your metabolism. That is one thing. And the type of food what you're going to eat is again very important. As I have told, too much of processed food or outside bought packeted foods loaded with artificial colors and flavors, it's going to counter effect the effects of benefits of fasting, whatever you've undergone all these days, right? So that is to be kept in mind. And other thing is, what you have to look for is like drinking too much of water and keeping yourself hydrated throughout the day, which is also very, very important. So water is something pure. It can be a plain water, or it can be a fruit infused water, or it can be a jeera water which has got digestion properties, or adding a pinch of asafoetida to it, or any kind of fruit infused water you can keep drinking throughout the day. That is the other point, right? And other thing what you have to keep in mind is keeping your intestinal gut healthy. So now that after a little amount of food eating, and then you're going to increase your quantity of food, always because of indigestion, as I've told, you might face constipation or loose stools. That can be because of either the eating pattern or the hygiene practices which is followed while cooking, or it can be because of the kind of food you're taking is not good, whatever reason, right? In that case, keeping your intestinal gut with healthy bacteria is going to help you. So how we are going to achieve is by taking good amount of probiotic probiotics in your diet. Probiotics are nothing but increasing your good bacteria in your intestinal tract, mainly in the lower intestinal area. So we always have a notion that bacteria is something which is our enemy and we should not take it, right? Or it's going to cause ill effects to our health, but definitely not. We are having a certain types of good bacteria which is going to keep your intestinal area very clean, and it's going to prevent the loose stools and constipation problem on a long run, right? So what can you do for it? It's just to increase the good amount of curd or any fermented products in your diet, like probably keep sipping buttermilk throughout the day, or including curd after a meal, or probably a yogurt, plain unflavored yogurt. So any of these, or fermented pickles to some extent increases the good bacterial gut in your health, which is going to solve the problem, right? So first thing I've told is having a small frequent meals, and next thing is including a good amount of probiotics, and third is hydrating yourself with good amount of fluid content, and the fourth point is about having choosing a healthy choice of food and avoiding unhealthy junk foods. Again, the reason being because of the artificial colors and flavors and the trans fatty acid present. Like for example, if you're going to have a fried chicken from outside, it's going to have, especially if it is prepared in the reheated oil, right? Then it's going to have a lot of trans fatty acid, which is going to target your heart and going to affect its functioning. And the other reason is because of the lot of saturated fat present in sweets. So should we avoid sweets during the festivals and occasion? Definitely no. Home prepared sweets are better option. Let's say for example, you can choose a healthy cereals. It can be a sabudana, it can be unrefined millets for that matter. You can make a kheer of your choice with jaggery added to it with a natural sugar, not the refined sugar, which is going to be helpful, healthy suggestion. Other alternative for dessert is probably a dry fruit mix for a sweet. So when you have a sweet craving, especially mix of all dry fruits with dates, which gives natural sugar and loaded with fiber and iron and also figs in your diet, right? So a sweet made of all the dry fruits would be a ideal better choice because of the nutrient properties as well as because of the fiber content and healthy fats present in it, right? So when you follow these simple steps, right, these 5 steps, then definitely you're going to benefit from the fasting whatever you have done, and you're going to prevent yourself from getting the unwanted side effects because of indigestion, right? Few of you might be thinking that all these points we know, it's already a known factor. So but what I strongly believe is knowing will not, or it's not going to help you in any way unless it's put into practice or things are implemented, right? So that is why I always keep telling the same thing again and again and again, so that it gets registered in somebody's mind. Even when you know, you start following it, and that's where you get the benefit. Hope these points would be more beneficial to you and helpful to you. Start putting into practice and see the benefits. Happy eating and healthy eating. Till then, it's me, Kamala, signing off, and see you next time around. Thank you.